Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Uncle Dubs here, otherwise known as the Alabama Adventurer. Just wanted to shoot a video real quick. I'm going to do a new series on the channel. It's going to be a how-to series. I'm still going to do my camping and adventures stuff, so don't worry about that. That stuff is coming. I actually have a big trip planned for the end of this month. It's March the 1st, 2025. So at the end of this month, I'm going on hopefully a big surprise trip, something that I've been wanting to do for years, and I think I can finally make it happen. Still got to get some of the details ironed out and everything, but stay tuned for that. Of course, that video will probably come out about a week after that trip, so that's probably that's at least a month away from coming out. So in the meantime, I'm gonna shoot some other videos. Today's video is gonna be just a simple how-to, just in case anybody needed to know how to set up a jack or anything like that for their vehicle, or not anything like that, specifically a jack, how to jack their vehicle up. You know, if you're doing adventures and stuff like that, you need to be able to do minor maintenance on your vehicle at least, because going to adventuring locations, you're going to run into problems like flat tires, small mechanical failures and things like that. You need to have just a few things in kind of an emergency kit that I can do later on for the channel. I think I actually did one of those years ago. It's back in the file of videos I had when I had my Silverado. But anyway, you need to be able to do those kinds of things and take care of yourself, get yourself out of a situation. So today I'm just gonna show you in a controlled environment how to use a jack real quick if you've never done it. Here we go. All right, I apologize, but it's real windy today. So first things first, you want to make sure the vehicle is turned off, not running. You want to have it in park, and you want to have the emergency brake on. Especially if you're doing work on the front of the vehicle, or you're changing a tire on the front, you want to make sure the emergency brake on, because that activates the rear brakes to help keep it from rolling. Then if your vehicle doesn't have wheel chocks with the jack system, this one does, but I just typically use a brick or block or piece of wood like that, something to put behind the wheel. If you're lifting the front, you want to put it behind the back wheel, and that'll keep it from rolling. If you're lifting the back of the vehicle, you want to put it in front of the front wheel, and that's just good for any vehicle. Today I'm working on my Sonoma. It's an 03 GMC Sonoma. That's what I'm working on today, but this applies really to any vehicle. Each vehicle has an owner's manual, and it will actually show you where the jacking points are. I'll take my floor jack instead of the jack that came with the vehicle, just because I'm at home and I'm going to use it on the frame. But you'll want to follow your manufacturer spec from the owner's manual that shows you where the jacking points are with your specific jack. Most will come with like a scissor jack like this. Of course, a lot of vehicles now don't even come with jacks, but that is a scissor style jack. This ball right here goes up in the jacking point, and then this square pad rests on the frame, and it just scissors up. And then those are the wheel chocks right there. Again, I just typically use a brick or a piece of wood. All right, now let's get the jack set up. But before you do anything, get all your tools out the best you can that you're gonna need. So there's what's known as my tire iron, that's your lug wrench. I got my jack. I've got WD-40. I'm actually doing brakes today, but the WD-40 is for the brakes to loosen the bolts on the brake calipers, and then have a jack stand. You're not supposed to rely on the jack itself. Never, when you have a vehicle jacked up with just a jack, never have your body under the vehicle at any point. Okay, and then once you get pressure applied to the jack, that's when you want to break loose your lug nuts to take the tire off. All right, now I've got pressure on the jack. The tire is still touching the ground, so now I can break loose all the lug nuts, pull the tire off, or break them loose, then jack jack the truck up enough to get the tire off the ground, pull the tire off, and then, you know, replace it with a spare if you were changing a flat, or for me, I'm doing brakes, so then I'll work on the brakes. Now, if you have a flat, when you jack it up and you take the flat off and you go get your spare tire, you're gonna have to jack it up more, because it's not going to take as much, because it's not going to have air in it, and then your spare is going to have air in it, so you're going to have to jack it up more. You know, for a lot of people this is going to sound very elementary, but if you've never done this, you know, just wanted you to have kind of an idea, to give you a little bit of confidence to take care of something that's very simple, minor maintenance, that anybody should really be able to do. These are things I'm going to teach my daughter how to do when she gets to driving age. Here's something to be mindful of. A lot of vehicles have plastic covers over the lug nuts, so you have to be gentle with them because they just screw on, but you may have to use your tire iron, lug wrench, to, you know, break them loose and then just take them off. All right, and you may have to step on them, you may have to kick it, like stomp down on it, but you make sure you get your lug wrench on there real well, and then just use your weight and pull it, push it, whatever you got to do to break it free. Once you get it broke free on all of them, whoops, lost the camera. It's not always easy. But once you get it broke free on all of them, there we go. You can finish jacking the vehicle up and take the tire off. Now on mine, I'm not sure, I bought this vehicle used, but, and I'm not using the factory jack. I had to go get a piece of wood because it wouldn't lift it high enough to get the tire off the ground. So you got to keep in mind, if your vehicle is raised or you're just not using the right jack like me, then you may have to do something like that. Once you get it up, you can put your jack stand under it, and then you can lower the jack a little bit to set down the vehicle on the jack stand, but leave the jack there, it's extra insurance.